morning. I went to bed last night early, as usual, before the sun was down. And then, at some point, I had a bad dream. And I had a bad dream yet last night also. Usually, when I have bad dreams, I moan. I can't quite get the scream out. But last night, I let out a blood-curdling scream. I could see lights flashing in my tent in my dream. And then, after I screamed, I woke up and it was real. There were some hikers that came in around about 9:30. It was pitch dark outside and they had their bright white headlamps on. And the reason I had picked the spot I did was because there was no other place right next to it. It was just one flat dirt spot for one tent. Across the way, there was room for multiple tents. So they proceeded to make a new spot right next to mine, which was right next to the trail for them. I could hear them moving away, branches and leaves and acorns, sweeping them away with their feet, I guess, talking. And anyway, it took me a while to fall back asleep. That was frustrating. So, this morning I woke up at about 4:30. I was out of there by about 5:30. And shortly after I left, I fell. And I landed on the left palm that I injured the other day. And at the same time, I hit my upper chest right around here on a rock and my thigh on a rock. But I am okay. I was a little worried that I might have cracked a rib on the uppermost part of my chest, but it's not hurting that bad, so all is well. I am going to have to backtrack a little bit, I think, on my stance on Pennsylvania. I think there might be a few more rocks here than in those other states. I've gone through several rock fields this morning, and I think it slowed me down to under 2 miles an hour. And in 2018, when I went through here, I actually slack packed it. I was picked up at 501 shelter by one of my favorite hostels, Rock and Soul, which is no longer. I heard they had some trouble with hikers and their lives had sort of taken a different direction, so they shut the hostel down. Anyway, I slack packed this section, so maybe I didn't realize how bad it was. I'm feeling tired and a little depressed and lonely. There aren't that many older people out here, and the older people that I have seen seem like they're trying to stay up with the 20-somethings. They're doing large miles, and very few people that I recognize, and no one that I have had any sort of camaraderie with in the past. So that's a little frustrating. I know that somebody said in the comments that a lot of people had dropped out, and I don't watch YouTube channels while I'm out here. I am wondering if whoever said that, or if you know of people who have dropped out, if you could put them in the comments, their names, their trail names. That's the only way I would know them, not by their YouTube channel. so I can see if I know them. I have seen Sparrow signing logbooks. She is about 4 days ahead of me. And I've looked through these logbooks, and I'm not seeing anybody I recognize, except for Sparrow and maybe a few others that I don't really know that well, but maybe met them once. So I'm feeling a little down today, feeling tired. The hotel that I'm going into tomorrow, I was making my reservation. It says check-in is not till 3. Sometimes they are absolute sticklers about that. Other times they have pity on hikers, and I sure do hope that they do, because it has been so hot, and they're talking about heat wave this, heat advisory that, and that is why I keep leaving so early, because I want to get my miles done before it gets really, really hot. So let me be me. This is where I'm at right now. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to try to conjure up some positive attitude, because this is where I'm at right now. And I'm not going to sugarcoat things out here. Things do get hard out here. So I guess that's it for the morning report. This is Rebound, signing out. Hello, I am at the Eagle's Nest shelter. I did about 15 miles today. I left at about 5:30, and I think I arrived here about 12:30 or 1. It is so hot, so very hot. It doesn't matter where I set my tent up. Eventually, even if I set it up in the shade, it ends up in the sun. So that's pretty frustrating. Tomorrow I have about 9 something into Hamburg, where I'm going to stay in the hotel, and I'm very much looking forward to that. Today was very frustrating. There were so many rocks, and it was painful on the feet, and there were large sections that had a wildfire, so there was no canopy in the trees to give shade, and the trail was completely overgrown. Some of the grass was as high as my thigh, and you couldn't really tell where the trail was unless you were looking straight down and you could see the dirt path underneath you, and that's very disconcerting. It was just a sea of weeds and ferns and no canopy in the trees, and I did not enjoy that part at all. So today was not my fave either, and I'm just pinning my hopes on tomorrow, getting into the hotel. I think there's a Walmart on the way in and lots of different places to eat, so I'm very much looking forward to that. It's about 2:37 later. I'll eat supper and then probably go to bed early and just pray that I don't have any bad dreams wherein I end up screaming like a banshee. This is Rebound, signing out.